40% of their job by going through the findings, by going through a transparent mechanism of verifying the validity or the merits of such an allegation. And if the matter still goes to the courts will also look at it a little favorably to say that yes, the parent should not have jumped the process. If there is a process mentioned, then the parent should participate in it. The parent cannot forcibly move away from the process and act as per his or her own whims and fancies and try to drag school to a litigation or to a police complaint, etc. So these are some important guidelines that we've seen which have helped teachers in the past in organizations, not just schools but even other corporate organizations, in trying to maintain a system which sort of doesn't give you a foolproof protection, but it gives you a substantial amount of protection against such untoward incidents. If you see some of the things which we spoke about in terms of the PTA and stuff, where we said that why do you need to record the minutes in video form or in written form? This is the same norm which we have for corporates. The intention is to have transparency. If you see, you have to have certain number of representation from the parents' side. What is the intent? Intent is to have transparency. Anything which has any process which is transparent, which is well laid out, will always stand the test of legal validity. And of course, if the processes turn out, the result of such processes is that someone was actually at fault, an appropriate action towards that should also be taken. It's not that the teacher may not be wrong. At times there may be a situation for whatever reason. In such situations, an appropriate action by the management is also important. Again, to show the bona fides that where we were wrong, we've accepted, we've corrected and taken the right decisions and steps towards it. And therefore, not every situation is it doesn't help you to avoid any prejudice being created against the school. Prejudice is the main issue in such situations. So that's one important perspective. So I think this is more about practical management of how to deal with things on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, it is inevitable to get summoned, get cases filed against you, get complaints filed against you. That's inevitable. But the right way to deal with it is to probably maintain a process and therefore go through that situation in a more structured way, in a more regulated way, which helps you ultimately succeed in the longer run. So I think this is what I had to say. I know there will be a lot of questions, so I think we can start with questions on these practical aspects if any.
Suppose a teacher, now you know that there are lots of laws in place that no corporal punishment, and
Correct.
such a broad perspective.
Correct.
In this situation, now suppose a teacher, even you're not allowed to even just tap a person, even that is considered that the child may say, go home and say, okay, that person has, hit me. And you can't really say that, oh, I tapped or something like that. And the parent is very, very upset. Now, what is the recourse to be followed? Now, we keep telling a teacher, don't do this, we have modified the parent, and again, suppose after some time the teacher has something which is against child right or this corporal punishment. What is the recourse? Because I don't think we want to throw the teacher out. It's not a major thing. But at the same time, the parents are annoyed. So, what is the recourse that is available to the teacher, to the school?
This is where the prejudice element comes into picture. Where the parents need to be told that we have evaluated this situation thoroughly, including senior teachers have been involved in the evaluation, and we realize that there is no personal prejudice. It's just a one-off action that the teacher has done. There are other students in the class, and the teacher has not done something with any student. Having said that, there is no prejudice also towards your pupil. So this is not a matter which is worth escalating. And recording of these kind of conversations in terms of one-on-one discussions and maintaining the record of that will be helpful in the long run. So to answer your question, you don't need to really take any action against the teacher on a one-off instant basis, but you need to just go through the process despite specified that to ensure that it was one-off instance and it is nothing wrong that the teacher has done, to avoid any kind of future liability.
And if it recurs, then
Sorry,
if it recurs again,
then you will have to take action after a point, because then it will lead into a prejudice. Why is one teacher, being very strict with one student?
not one. It could be that she
Say
or
for
he
simple
is in a habit of tapping or pulling ears or something of that sort, which is just not allowed right now.
Yes, it's
So
not
if
allowed
that
right now.
occurs again, say after 4 months,
I think there is no straight jacket answer to a situation like this. So it's more case to case. But if it's happening after 4 months, I don't think any court will take a view that this person has been constantly in the habit of being of hitting the students or imposing such punishments on students. So it's a fair enough protection nonetheless. Having said that, if it reoccurs on regular basis, despite the teacher being warned not to do it, then that could lead to an issue. Because you just like we expect the students to follow a certain decorum, the same law applies to the teachers as well. In fact, the courts are more sympathetic towards the student. So if it's a matter where the teacher has actually done something like that on a recurrent basis, despite being warned or told not to do it by the senior members or the principals, then it could lead to a problem. So then I would suggest that the school takes a remedial action against the teacher, maybe a suspension or a strong warning for the final time. Something like that needs to be done to show your bona fides. Otherwise, what could happen is next time the teacher is actually just tapped the student, not done anything, but there is so much historical prejudice against that teacher that it leads to a problem. So it's important to have such things, some process at least to address it.
one more question, sir.
Alright, after that we will take just 3 questions. After that, 1 question. Just 3 more
one.
questions. Yes, ma'am, please.
You talked about CCTV. What is happening is parents are asking to view, if you take a slight disciplinary action against a child or say he was copying or doing something and you see checked it and this is what happened and we take some disciplinary action which is absolutely valid. Now they want to have a look at what has happened. So I understand your point that we should show to police in case they require or educational institution. If we start showing it to parents, this is going to be every day,
nuisance.
yeah, it will be a nuisance. So what is the take on that?
See, there is, as a matter of fact, you are not liable to show them.
Okay, so we are legally, we are
You are
not
not liable to show
liable to
them.
show us. Okay.
Having said that, what happens is, again, it's a matter of building that perception or prejudice. If you are cooperative and you show it to a parent, and not saying that you show it to a parent for, in a case where his pupil is caught copying, but let's say there is a more serious action which has been taken for which there is CCTV footage. In those cases, I would recommend that the school acts in a transparent manner and shares it with the parent so that your bona fide is clear.
Alright, madam, can we have?
How powerful is Child Rights Commission today?
So it is powerful in a way where it wants to get things done. Unfortunately, a lot of these things are more motivated for other reasons. As we see, the commission is active, and it would be better to be within the framework and not sort of get into an issue with them because they have the authority. So it's like there is a law. Whether it's really strictly enforced or not is a question. If it's not strictly enforced, do we still follow the law? Answer is yes.
Yes.
So you all are aware that in each and every school there are few disgruntled parents, you can say, who are against the school or who are not interested. And we find some behavioral problem with those kids. So how to deal with that? Because if we go to say something, even though we genuinely talk about a behavioral issue, they feel that we are against the child because the parent is not with the school. So how to deal with that?
So again, the answer to that is, has there been a fair process being put in the place to evaluate what the child done to evaluate the situation. If it's a same teacher complaining, the parents are not going to listen. But if we have a situation where a particular, so we have a discontented parent who's going to always complain about his child being treated in a different way or his child being treated badly, the answer to that is record his complaint a couple of times, once or twice, follow up with the right process for evaluating the merits of the complaint, and the third time onwards just stop it, don't follow it up. Because you have enough evidence with you now to show that it's actually the school or the management or the teachers are right and the child or the parent are unnecessarily trying to create a nuisance. The minute you feel, and like I said, there's no straight jacket formula to it, but these things are things to be done from a third person's perspective, having reasonable diligence and prudence. If I'm a third person looking at the records of certain past discussions, and I can, looking at that, easily conclude that the school has not been at fault, the parents are actually trying to create a nuisance. That is a good enough thing for the school as a protection.
So do you mean to say record, we put it on the paper and get signature from some of the teachers and parents, or how it could go?
No, so it would go where you have a short meeting with the parents and the teachers, not just the teacher who's facing the pupil or who's handling the pupil, but 2 or 3 other teachers as well, along with the parents, where there is a discussion where it's not just one teacher speaking about the student's behavioral pattern, but 2 or 3 of them who observe that, and then recording all the conversations in form of minutes. That's helpful.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, we're going to have just 2 questions. Madam, after you, any other mic drop or any? Thank you.
I just want to ask whether it is compulsory to have CCTV in every classroom, because we don't have it in every classroom. We have it in the school, in the entrance, in the corridors, but not in individual
No,
classrooms.
it's not compulsory. There are certain guidelines which the police department has put it for school buses, etc., where it's compulsory to have CCTV cameras. But within the school premises, so far it's not compulsory.
As Sir rightly said, we must ensure a third person perspective. According to my suggestion, third person perspective has to be a qualified counselor. Refer to a counselor, get it documented on a piece of paper, child has got this problem, you will have all the documentation. And ma'am has said, sir, repeatedly, creating a problem every after 3 months from, I think he also needs a counseling. So once if you are a displacement of frustration, he keeps creating a problem for the school. So if you are a qualified counselor, immediately refer to a counselor, get it documented, everything sorted out. As simple as that. For that, Makisara Counseling Center is always there.
That's a nice piece of promotion, sir. Alright, just one more question, sir. We'll end it with yours. Yes.
We have made a documentation for the discipline issue. So level 1, level 2, level 3 offences, repetition, minor offence, major offence, and all those things. Now, I was just going through what is written in your the material that has been provided. We have a policy of detention after school. We have a policy of suspension from school. It depends on 1 day, 3 day, 1 week, 10 days, depending on the severity of the offence that is there. This is documented, it is printed in the calendar, it is passed with the PTA. But do you think that from what it is written, like detention and suspension would be legally on the wrong footing?
Detention definitely, because
Detention not after school.
After school,
you see detention during school.
During the school hours, maybe a couple of hours after school, he has given some work, made to sit in the school.
So that will not, again, like I said, if it's a one-off incident, it won't be a problem. But technically, the law prohibits you from detaining students. So even legally, it is not a very technically and legally speaking, it may not be the right course of action.
I have heard that 9th and 10th are allowed to be, detention is allowed for good time. No, like you're talking about the other day. Somewhere I have read that.
So there are different ages.
It's the 9th and apparently now the 5th standard.
I'm talking about detention.
I think he's talking about some other detention.
I just clarified.
the Right to Education Act is relevant only for elementary education, which is standard first to eighth. So this act prohibits physical punishment, mental detention, all that. And that is your basis of saying that if the act doesn't apply 8 onwards, then you can do it for 9 and 10. I think that's what you meant.
What is the
That is so.
punishment that we can give
For the
positive?
what about the suspension, sir? What else is allowed for the
What is allowed? What are we allowed?
No, for 9, 10, 10,
It's not for 9.
Okay, both ways,
now even up to 8, it's looking at both ways. My view is once you're a minority institution, the RT Act doesn't apply to you. If the RT Act doesn't apply, section 16 and 17, which deals with all this punishment, detention, physical punishment, mental harassment would not apply.
That means you will go ahead and do all.
No, but then let me add a idea. As Hemang has said, you need to have a system in place. Your rules should specifically provide. Even after your rules provide, as he has said, you must have a system. You must call the parent, have an interaction. The entire process which he said that has to be followed. Because the basic thing what he has said is that if you want to inflict any punishment, it has to be in accordance with principles of natural justice. And natural justice requires that the parent should know what is charged against his child. He should have an opportunity of being heard. Everything should be recorded and documented. That's what he said, that procedure you have to follow. But your calendar should specifically state that. If your calendar doesn't specifically state, it will be very difficult. And just I want to add one more thing on that child protection. The question was how powerful is this Child Rights Commission? Well, there's a recent Bombay High Court judgment saying that what was being done by Child Rights Commission, especially the secretary, was totally illegal. What you've been reading in newspapers the last 1 year, that the secretary of the Child Rights Commission was summoning the schools, telling them, firing them, whatever it is. The Bombay High Court has an occasion to consider and said the secretary has no power. What he was doing was not proper, and they have directed the government to ensure that he stays within his bounds. I mean, this is the language used in the Bombay High Court judgment. And that's the reason why June onwards, we are not hearing about Child Protection Commission. Because the judgment is of May.
Just one point on applicability. So while the law may not be technically applicable in certain situations, having said that, the court will always draw a parallel from the law which is extra. So if the law is applicable only for pupils up to standard 8 and for students for secondary and higher secondary, the law may not apply, but the principles of law may still become applicable. So there is a technical argument that look, the law doesn't apply, so ma'am, you just said that.
That was a
No, I know what you meant, but it's not that since the law doesn't apply, the courts will not look at the conduct and compare it with the actions that the school can or cannot do under the law. The courts will still, as a principle of law, say that yes, we still need to evaluate and make it applicable, though not technically.
Alright, thank you so much. I think we're done. These are last questions.
There is one last question. Suspension. Yeah, so suspension is not something which, I mean, it's a serious action. So again, unless you have a very strong recorded case for suspension, anything below that would make you more susceptible to a challenge. So if you are imposing a punishment of suspension, it has to be at a very serious level where, and the school having thoroughly gone through the process, including counseling, and coming to a conclusion that all means available have been reasonably tried, and there is no other recourse left, so this has been done.
How do you protect a teacher who's falsely accused?
That's a good question. False accusations is not unusual. Again, said, what happens is a fair conduct, a fair inquiry will help the teacher and you can protect it only through that. So there is no way you can stop someone from making a false acquisition. And unfortunately, if a false acquisition is made, no matter how false it is on the face of it, the process of going through proving it's a false acquisition is itself cumbersome and painful. So in such situations, you can't really stop it. The only way we can do it is, brace ourselves for it by having the right processes and ultimately have it documented to show that a fair inquiry has been done, the teacher was falsely accused, and the teacher has not done anything wrong. And then we stand by that decision. If the parent ultimately goes to the court, your recording of all these proceedings will help you immensely before the court to evaluate whether the school has done something wrong or the teacher was right or the parent was right.
Alright, thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Can you please put your hands together for Mr. Hemang Parekh?